Hello and welcome to Day 7 of the 12 Days of N Scale. This is a 12-part series where I share the joy of running my N Scale trains on a very temporary holiday layout. Today's locomotive is one of everybody's favorites, and it's certainly one of my favorites. Yeah, I know, I have a lot of favorites. Today we're looking at the Pennsylvania Railroad GG1, and you're not seeing double. These really have multiplied since last time I filmed my GG1. Now you might recall I got this beautiful Tuscan Red GG1 number 4909 during my summer vacation to Altoona, Pennsylvania, and it was pretty cool to buy it at a hobby shop there because the GG1's themselves were made in Altoona. And my goal in N Scale had always been to have one Tuscan Red and one Brunswick Green GG1, and shortly after my trip to Altoona I found a good deal through an online hobby shop to buy this beautiful Brunswick Green GG1 number 4859, and I'm sure it looks black on camera, but it is a very, very dark shade of green. Both of these GG1's are made by Kato, and they're identical except for the color. And even though only 16 GG1's still exist in the world, the rest unfortunately have been scrapped, these two are among the real-world survivors. The red one, number 4909, is parked on a siding in Cooperstown Junction, New York, and the green one, number 4859, is at the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania Amtrak station. And since both of these are within driving distance of me, I'm hoping next year I can get to go see them both in person. The GG1 is one of the most iconic and beloved locomotives ever made. The Pennsylvania Railroad made 139 of them between 1934 and 1943, and these ran only on the Pennsylvania Railroad's electrified lines. When I was a kid, I remember seeing them run on the Northeast Corridor. Specifically, we used to go to Princeton Junction often to watch trains, and while most of them would be ordinary freight trains or Amtrak Metroliners, when a GG1 came in, it was always special. And this is where early childhood memories do get a little foggy, because I seem to remember seeing Brunswick Green GG1's, though by the time I was born, the Pennsylvania Railroad was already history. So most likely the ones that I saw running were either Penn Central, Amtrak, or New Jersey Transit. It's also possible that the repainting of them lagged the merger into the other railroads. So while it's hard for me to remember the details, what I won't forget is simply the joy of seeing them and of hearing them. Their electric motor had a very deep whir that was unlike anything else I've ever heard since. So the last GG1 was retired by New Jersey Transit in 1983, and I do remember at some point just wondering why I don't see them anymore, and as a young kid, there's no way I could have really understood that they were decommissioned and scrapped, but those will always be treasured memories. And one of the other interesting things about the GG1 is that they pulled both passenger and freight trains. So for today's run, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm primarily going to run this with freight, but towards the end I'll sneak in some passenger cars. It's just going to be a quick little glimpse because that's going to be a spoiler for what's coming for tomorrow's video. So for the freight car run, I've tried to mostly pick out cars you haven't seen yet. The first two should be familiar since they use the knuckle-style couplers. I of course had to put the Pennsylvania Railroad boxcar, I put the conversion car, which is my sister's Firestone tanker, and then I've put my own 3 tanker cars, followed by the only piggyback car that I own, and then 2 box cars that you haven't seen yet. And lastly, and of course the coolest part apart from the GG1 itself, is going to be this Pennsylvania Railroad caboose. Merry Christmas, and thanks for watching.